All right. Welcome to episode number 2 of For the Record podcast, everybody. My name is Ronnie, one of your hosts, and
I am Danielle, your other.
So we're in episode 2. We made it a week. I think at this point there'll be like 2 people watching this, Finney and Willis.
Yeah, absolutely.
Based on,
I'm actually gonna say, did you check out that episode?
Exactly.
You know what's really funny? When we were filming our last episode, I looked down, and if you actually probably watch or listen really tightly, you'll notice it. I looked down because I had a notification from Instagram, and it was I'd posted "Ooh, podcast day," and sure enough, Mark Finney literally said, "I cannot wait to listen to it. You look great."
Yeah, of course. Now we have to leave Easter eggs into this. So we got to leave little Easter eggs in there. And then we have to ask them did you watch it? What was the Easter egg? What do you think we missed? That's the test. That's the test. But for all 2 listeners for the first episode, thank you for listening. And we're here at a second episode. What are we going to talk about?
Okay. Well, one of the big things that is always important to me is how do you choose a wedding photographer and a videographer and music and officiants? What is important here too? So we're also going to break into what is important for a good wedding, right? Sometimes, let's rewind it a little bit. Let's go back. How do you choose a good videographer?
Or even let's step back one more bit. How do you choose a good vendor?
Ooh.
Right. How do you, what are your
top things
you got to hit
okay
to choose a good vendor
here? As the girl that's been always the bridesmaid, never the bride, just we got
to get into that a little bit more.
We can dive deep. Okay, if you're someone that likes the bright and airy photos, so if you like the white on white and the blush pink and things like that, choose a venue that has good lighting. Right. So if the lighting to you is bright and airy, choose a bright and airy venue. If you like the dark and moody, choose a dark and moody venue. Right. Lighting is everything when it comes to the mood that your photos are probably going to have for the most part.
And the best part, lighting is not what people are thinking about. Right. You don't understand how much light affects everything that's happening in a sort of a visual landscape of what your venue looks like. Lighting 100% makes that cut, right? You don't look at it, you don't think about, I got to think about lighting on my venue. You never think about it because hey, turn on a few lights, you're good, or hang a few lights and you're good, but it's not how you want it to feel, right? And
absolutely.
Lighting matters.
And the thing is too, there's a huge difference in the type of lighting too. Natural lighting is the best, and then if you have a white lighting or if you have a yellow lighting, right? And sometimes too, when you go to churches, they will not, depending how religious they are, they do not want flash as well. So it's just a couple things to think about when you're picking a wedding venue. Also, another thing I'm going to mention too is when you're thinking of your dinner and dance, what is the most important thing to you? Is it the place where you just step in and you feel party? Right? Because there are some places where they have a sunken dance floor, tables along the side that you can actually turn into a wedding venue. But then they have signs on the wall that you can't remove. And there's just things that you can't really hide that are totally going to be in your pictures, right? So if it is or not important to you, something to consider too. Because sometimes too, people are focusing on quite a bit of those things in their photo as well. Depends on your venue. Or if you want to do your favorite weddings and your favorite wedding photos happen to be in a tent, go that route. Right? That produces that light and airy feeling, also can bring party and the type of twinkle lights that you want to add, that kind of thing. More lighting is obviously always better for me anyways.
See, and when couples start planning too, the first thing they pick is a date, and then second thing is a venue.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes you already have a venue made up in mind, but what you have to think about is when you make up the venue in mind, you also have to make sure the photos that you're going to have there, the video you're going to have there, or the decor and everything, how that's going to look. Because you might think, I'm going to change this with the decor, I might change that with the decor, but it might be harder than you think, or you think it's easier, but it might be harder because there's some stuff that even if you try to, change it to make it look a certain feel, it might not look it. So instead of maybe even set on that venue and changing it, maybe try to little tweak a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So have that little flexibility and maybe choosing a different venue that would actually give you what you need with very little effort. That way it's there and you've got it and you don't have to worry about it, or you don't have to put too much attention into it, right? So,
and my, once again, 27 dresses moment is pick a venue where you also, I'm going to talk about this all day, vibe with the people. Because sometimes, and I have seen it before, oh, no, sorry, you can't stand there. Oh, no, sorry, you can't put your drink there.
or
Oh, no,
not,
you cannot
or biggest
have
for the
candles.
music.
You can't have candles at some places.
Oh, biggest thing with the music, you
Yeah.
can't bring the drink on the dance floor. I'm like, what do you expect people to do?
Yeah. So definitely before you pay your deposit, ask for their rules, and you have other venues where like, oh, candles, drink on dance floor, no problem. That might be the route that you want to go. Right.
And that's why people, I think, nowadays choose to have it in a acreage or a farm or in a tent,
Yeah.
right? Because now there's no rules to worry about. You do what you want to do, and that's totally okay too.
Absolutely.
And in a sense, that gives you the freedom to plan the wedding that you want to plan at absolutely not having to worry about the rules that I have to worry about
Yeah,
in a banquet hall or a
And
hotel.
I've seen too a couple venues where I've seen the lady or the man who runs it sees an old person walking across the parking lot and runs out with like a gator to pick them up. And I'm like, ooh, I want to get married there. It's just the care that they put it. They give up their own houses. They make spaces. They're bending over backward to make sure that you have a really good day. And then I've seen other places where it's like they're chasing you down on your wedding day to tell you the rules. And I'm just like, oh.
And with COVID right now too, like it doesn't get easier, right? Because
No,
venues are like, okay, they come up to the DJ and tell them, hey, make sure to announce every half an hour to make sure to keep the masks on. And I understand the venue's perspective, and I totally do,
100%.
but from a party perspective, from an entertainment perspective, I'm just going, that's only going to kill the vibe every half an hour if I get on the mic and tell them, hey, please put your mask back on and do this. It's not like we don't care about safety or what's important and how to do it. But at the end of the day, when you're there to have fun, it's like the biggest party pooper is like, oh, we're going to have to keep masks on. We're going to make sure there's no drinks on the dance floor. And those rules does have effect on some couples and just people in general too. Right? Imagine you are going to a wedding and you're like, you're having a great time. You're like, I'm going to take my drink. You don't even think about drinking. You don't even think about it.
That's how I dance the best, when I have a drink in my hand.
Is it even a party? Is it even a dance floor if people don't spill a couple beers on the dance floor and
Absolutely
your feet's
not.
sticky?
I cannot twerk without a White Claw in my hand.
100%.
Yeah. Sorry. I shouldn't have admitted.
Oh man. But no, you understand, like there are different things and you have to you think, okay, I just like this venue, I'm gonna pick it, but there's more that goes into this.
Okay, let's talk about food. I mean, we aren't experts because
I'm expert in eating food. I'm not sure about you.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, just for the record here, super celiac, yeah, but really likes to explore my options with gluten constantly, weekly. Yeah,
understand.
Yeah, Shane just like kills me every time. I just like to get as bloated as I can.
Listen,
for fun.
I can't wait for those. Again, we're in Manitoba, so the pierogies and the sausages and the meatballs. Are you kidding me?
Yes. Okay.
Oh, adds about 30 pounds after every summer, like pretty much.
Yes, and I want to talk about this really quickly because a couple years ago, in a wedding party I was in as a bridesmaid, they did. So first time I went and you had your meals served to you. Right? You got plated food. And I was like, ooh, that's an added expense. But, the bride said to me, well, I've been a server for like 7 years. Like, you best bet on my wedding day, I am getting served. And that was important to her. And I was like, And sometimes it's a way to really class up a wedding if that's important to you. Absolutely. But that being said, if it's important, something to consider. And my other thing I want to bring up is, you can't beat the sausage and pierogi line. Not gonna lie, Ronnie's like laughing right now. Yeah, we know. We met those lines.
Come on.
Help yourself.
Those are like, but if I want more pierogies or if I want more sausages, I want more, right?
Absolutely.
Like, and that's perspective of from your guests too. And you're looking at it. What if my guests want more? How do they go? And when it's a served wedding, and sometimes you're like, where do I ask? Do I even ask? Can I ask?
Yeah,
there's so many other things, right? So like, and the plated food is per person. So it's like, X amount of dollars per person. So then you're like, okay, it's plated, it's amount, and that's it. But if I want more, I can't.
My Ukrainian family eats more than this.
Exactly. Like so you give that option in a buffet line, and when they have to go up and pick up their food, and it's an option.
You know what though? I have never been to a wedding where I'm like, oh, this food's disgusting. I feel like if you are in a wedding industry and you do food, generally, do a good job.
And you know what you're doing. Like food for 100, 150, 100, 280, 200 people. Like they know what they're doing. So generally food, the quality of food is never the issue ever. It's just how you want that experience of, the food is a big part of the evening, and how you want that experience to feel for your guests is just as important, right?
Well, and I want to put this out there is like, I've seen couples that, do the route of what would the people want? No. If you want mac and cheese, get mac and cheese. If you want chicken
mac
fingers,
and cheese,
do you? Because when people come up and they see that and they giggle and they eat it, and that's something they talk about, how unique.
They're gonna remember it. They're gonna remember. We went to Megan and Dan's wedding and they had mac and cheese,
or they had McDonald's as their midnight lunch.
McDonald's. Now, sidetrack. When we got our first office, we did a grand opening party, and guess what the not dinner, I guess the food options were. I got 100 cheeseburgers,
of course you did,
100 McChickens, and 100 Big Macs. Fries everywhere. Oh, galore. The amount of people that loved it, the amount of people that absolutely went, hell no. I almost said F no. The amount of people that went, hell no, I'm not touching it. But the amount of people that absolutely loved it, hey, because I love McDonald's cheeseburgers.
I think you're going to have more fans with McDonald's. I got to quickly tell you a fun story. My sister-in-law, Megan, one time went to a social. She wore sequin shorts, like really short sequin shorts, got super drunk. And my brother's like, Kate, time to go home, Megan. And she's like, no. And she walks up to the midnight lunch, which happened to be cheeseburgers. That's all she could talk about. She stuffed into these tiny little like sequins tight shorts like 4 or 5 cheeseburgers before she left, and Derek's like, put them back, and she's like, don't you tell me what to do. It was so funny that when I was the maid of honor at her wedding, I stole the sequin shorts from her house and I held them, and I was dropping cheeseburgers in my speech and like letting these McDonald's cheeseburgers, which I bought the night before, just splatter all over the floor. And like she was dying laughing. No one else understood it. But at the time, anyway, the whole story is I will never forget the cheeseburgers when they come out. Yeah. Okay, let's go back on track here.
So food. The next thing, photography. So how do you pick a photographer?
Honestly,
and what would you tell people to look for?
110%. Like I have people that I like, but that I have my go-to kind of list. Honestly, don't ever pick a photographer being like, hey, I like somebody else's work, but I'm picking you because you're cheaper or you're available. Can you copy what they do?
Red flags across the board.
We don't book those people. You want to pick someone, I mean, like maybe it's a personal preference, but photography, videography to me are my top budgets. Because I'm drawn, and you can tell by my pictures, I like happy people. I want you to look at their photos and know that they were in love and they're having the time of their lives. So if you like those candid photos and you like smiley people and you just like a fun time and that's what you want to capture, then you would book me, right? But if you like the art and like the hands and like the more artistic, like portrait style, you pick somebody else. I can probably give you 1 or 2 shots of that, but I cannot do that all day.
And that's what's important too, is when you're picking a photographer, you're picking their personality, their style, what they are doing, right?
Yeah,
you're not picking because you want something else and you're telling the photographer to mold to what you want. You want because you like what they are producing, right? Absolutely. Like I can't come to you and be like, take Mark Willis kind of photos because that's not you. Just you are, right? I can't. And same thing, we can go to Mark Willis and be like, take Mark Willis kind of like take Danielle kind of photos. He's like, no, I'm the wrong person. Yeah. But the consistency of when it's your photos, and you see that style.
And also the other thing that's really important is I'll never forget this. One of the bride and grooms actually from Rivers as well. Mark Finney was their photographer, and they cannot stop talking about this destination wedding with Mark Finney. They're all best friends with him now, where he photoshopped abs on all the topless groomsmen. And it still gets, last week it was still showing. Like it was still hitting the Snapchat reel. And they all just like love his personality and what he brings to the table. So you could have a photographer that has amazing work, but they're miserable to be around. Not saying that I actually know any, but if you are someone that's silly and just wants to be silly all day, and that's important to you, pick a photographer that matches, that 100%. Can go with that vibe, and they can, just run with it. Right.
And again, I've worked with Finney on different weddings and also on a destination wedding, and dude gels in with the couple and the family and the friends so well.
He's like a little chameleon.
He is, and he can absolutely like blend in, and by pretty much the second day when he's pointing camera at people, they want to be in front of it. Sometimes people run away when you point the camera. They're like, no, not me, or like they don't understand they're the shot. But when Finney picks up, and then by the second day, he's like, they all want to be. He's in the party, and it's like he's a family member, gets it.
Yeah.
And what you want to understand, that when you get Finney or when you get people similar to that, they are going to get photos that you didn't imagine about, because they make that they create that experience for the people they're photographing, right?
Absolutely.
And that is part of it.
And then even like if you have wild lighting dreams, you pick Mark Willis.
Yeah, exactly.
If you have you see something,
Also, this is becoming a Mark Willis and a Mark Finney episode again. This is episode number 2.
God.
All right, Finney and Willis, you got to start sponsoring and just say.
No, they did pay me. Just joking.
Where is my money? I didn't get any money.
I'm joking. Okay, so photographers, vibe. Pick the vibe that you want. Pick the editing style that you want. Find that photographer that has those things.
And Instagram these days is great. When you go on to a photographer's Instagram, the aesthetic, you look at it, bright and airy, you got it. Rustic, you got it. You got, like portraiture style, you got it. Like you can see it is evident when you go onto an Instagram's profile and you look at it. Now you have no idea where to start with the photographer. Just Instagram is a great place, and just search photographers Brandon or Brandon photography or Manitoba photography. There's tons of them. You just click on the hashtag and go through the accounts, and you look at them and go, okay, I like the style. Start saving those, and then you go, okay, these are the photographers I like, and these are the styles I like. Then you talk to them,
and
right?
Honestly, when someone says, no, sorry, I'm not available for a date, don't be shy to be like, hey, do you have anyone that you recommend that's very similar to you?
100%.
Because we are always going to give you a list of people. You know what? I always throw on my list Mandy Work. She's from Brandon. She did my brother's wedding and one of my girlfriend's wedding when I was a bridesmaid. And maid of honor in both those ones, just saying.
We're gonna have to take a shot. We're gonna have to take a shot every time Danielle brings up I was a bridesmaid.
I was a bridesmaid. No, that's the only time I get to walk down the aisle, so it's important to me.
Oh, Shane and I need to have a conversation.
Okay. So, yes, I have a list of people. I'm like, no, I've been in a wedding. I've been in front of their camera and I just like their vibe. So I definitely have recommendations of just different people where I'm like, nope, I've been a part of their day. I know what they're like. Yeah.
And 100%. And from an entertainment perspective, when we work with photographers all the time, like we have an extensive list of them, right? So from like our vendor recommendations start from venues to food to photographers to videographers to florists to dress like this. We have lists of everything.
And I just have people that are like, and I love people that are like, here's my dream. And you're like, yes, I can make that work.
Yeah.
Like there's florists. They definitely are very magical. Definitely have some florists. Got some new florists 100%. That I'm super passionate about. And that are just like, okay, we could do some crazy stuff. And that just want to be a part of your day. And they aren't like, you know what I'm talking about? They're not trying to oversell you.
100%. Sometimes you got to let them let them do what they're good at, right?
Let the artist be their artist,
right? And you got to give them that. Yes, you have your style, perfect. You show them that style in their head. The gears are running. They've got 100 things that they're already thinking about the moment you point a picture at them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then once they do that, then you just got to wait until let them show you the work and then show you examples of how they're going to make that.
Well, that's it. And then let's just jump back to videography. There, it's like, watch their work.
100%.
See, the proof's in the pudding. Like you guys, like if you're not very experienced when it comes to cameras and equipment, sometimes when you look at a video and you're like, oh, I really like, what do you like about that?
Right.
Did you like the style of it? Did you like the crisp and clarity and the editing of it? Did you like, hugely with videography, and I'm not the videographer here, is the storytelling component.
100%. And we ask all our couples that sort of ask for information from us. I'm like, what was any video that you looked at on our site? Anything that you've seen? How did you get to know about us? Like, what drove you to our work? And sometimes we the reason we ask that is we want to know what their style is, right?
Yeah,
Who they are and how what drew them to our work. That gives us insight into who they are and what they like.
Well, I love that feedback from people. Oh, I heard about you, or I saw you, right?
Or saw our work, saw your video.
Your work's amazing or whatever. But there's this one I always get, oh, I saw you at someone's wedding. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you moved so fast. Like you literally were by the bride and groom, and then you were up in the tree.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
up in the tree.
That's like the only
I want to know how she climbed up in the tree.
Oh my gosh, spider monkey.
And also just for us, video is always about getting the story of the couple and their family and the friends that are there, right? And when we spend 12, 14 hours that day with you guys, we just want to get as much as possible about you, your love, your story, your family, your friends. And when we put together the video, it all sort of flows in together, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And you have to understand that when they are doing that, and when we are doing that, you have to understand that, okay, this is what I want. When you see the work and you realize this is what you want, then that's what you want. There are videographers out there who will do a very high energy, like almost like a music video, like you're a very happy music video style edit. Some will do a very long, lovey, slow edit, and some could sort of weave between the two, and because they'll reflect your style. So that you got to think about what their work is and how that reflects you. Right.
Yeah. So, and I mean, when we say, oh, let the artist be the artist, like that's within reason. If there's something, 100%. If there's a video you really liked and you said, hey guys, how you did that is kind of what I'm vibing with, let us know. Right. Or if there's like, hey, you did, Felicia and Paul's wedding. Oh my gosh, that picture on the dock. Like, I love that. And then I'm thinking to myself, okay, this couple likes water. Right. It is good to kind of know, like, don't, hesitate with some hopes and dreams here. Right. But the other thing is too, like, we do have that creative, we do have that experience, but don't be afraid to, and you should be able to say this any wedding, anyone working your wedding is like, you know what? I really want a lot of family in my pictures, or I really want a lot of friends, or I just want to,
and telling us what's important to you that
what's
day.
Important.
What do you want to look back on, sit back and look at it and what do you want to be filmed, right?
Yeah.
And again, also what is important to you, and when you look back, because again,
we want you to love the work
100%. And because there's no rewind button. You gotta have to how everything just happens, and that's it. So when we're there, we're capturing everything and it's done, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely. And one thing I want to break into, because this actually this summer with me, the couple were like, actually we planned. I said, well, what's really important to you? Like, I just want to know, make sure I don't miss anything. And they said, we actually planned our wedding day on our grandparents' 50th anniversary. And I was like, oh, do you think you could take photos of like, just pull them aside and take a couple photos of them? Like, I'll pay you extra. And I literally is like, no, you've hired me for the day. So yeah, no, I sat them down and did a couple photos of them, made it really cute. Yeah. And that was like the biggest compliment from the bride. I think she was like just super excited that day just to look at the photos of like her grandparents that she's so close to.
Similar idea that come to us with that same idea too. And we're like, okay, cool. That's awesome.
We'll add that.
How about can I get some photos of your grandparents from their wedding, or if you have it, or just of them from the past? Let's get that. So what we do is get those, and then when we finish the video, we weave those older photos in there, and then the older photos with the new photos, and then older photos with the new video in there.
So don't ever be scared to ask.
100%. Like when you give us more, work helps us make the work even better.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. We're telling you, don't have suggestions, but have suggestions.
in a sense, no suggestions of what you want, but again, let us take that suggestions and then make it make it the style that we're gonna get to.
We're not actually that high maintenance. I feel like we're coming off high maintenance.
Again, we're like the lowest maintenance.
We are very chill. 110%. But okay, so what have we all covered here? We've got venue. Okay, music.
Food. Photographer, video, music. Again, from a music perspective, I just tell all our couples, like, try to meet with your entertainer and the DJ and get their vibe of what they're going to be like, right? And in a sense, I would say that as an entertainer, we get to spend longer times than a photographer and a videographer sometime, because we start at 1 p.m. when your ceremony is starting. And then sometimes we go from 1 to 1 a.m. in the morning, right? And we're the last ones walking out after the party's done, right? So we try to tell them to take a look at who they are and how understand what their style is. And when you get to work with them, they're there to play for your wedding. They're not there to,
in a weird way, we talked about venues setting mood and things like that. But if a party is what you're looking for your wedding, the person that is going to create that party is your music guy.
And you need to have to understand who they are, how they work, and what the process is, right? How are they going to use your music style that you like, and how are they going to blend it in along with everybody else that's going to be there, your family and the friends? How are they going to work with it, right? So that's important.
It's so funny that everyone has something like really quirky that they're into. Mine would be like, so do you take requests? Because me and my drunk girlfriends are going to come up and we want Eminem 100%. When we say
100%. And I tell them, like, listen, we take requests all day, all night. All 6 of the guys that work for the music side of things, we take requests all night because, again, we're not there to play for what we like. Trust me, if it was what I like, it'll be like country and then EDM, like completely opposite stuff, and there'll be nothing in between.
Eminem. Just joking.
Slim Shady all night long. Yeah. Oh my God. But understanding that, and also being as open as you can with your artist and the style. And nowadays with Spotify, we tell them, like, make a playlist, make a playlist of your songs, and then share it with your DJ. So let's see how they can include that into their
if you have any workflow. Kind of crazy first dance stuff and you want to do like a mashup or anything like that, talk to your music man.
Exactly, because again, that will help in terms of how well the first dance stands out for video and photo. So now everything is connected, right? So the more fun the entertainer, the DJ is able to create for the evening, from maybe playing the best music tracks for the people to dance to, or little activities that are happening during the evening, the more better it is for the video and the photo side of things to capture those. And then when you look back at it and you have these smiling faces that are having the time of their lives, and then you realize, okay, the fun is all that mattered. And that fun is being able to comes from being a good entertainer, right?
Absolutely. So, it's actually the way you put it, an entertainer.
Right.
Because your music band
exactly. Yes, DJing, the DJing is that aspect of what we do, right? Is as a disc jockey, we mix music, and that's our skill. But as a whole, when you look back at it, we're an entertainer. We're making sure people are entertained throughout the day, and that's
just,
what we do.
Feeling the vibe and watching the crowd, right?
100%. And how we can reflect the couple's personality to make sure when people walk out going that night, we want them to be like, that was the best wedding we've ever been to.
And they might not, you'll notice when you look back on your day and you think, oh my gosh, so-and-so's wedding was amazing. Well, what was amazing about it? And I do want to quickly bring this up. It wasn't the decor. I'm so sorry.
Or the chocolate font.
Actually, the photos look great with great decor. It wasn't the chocolate. It wasn't the ice one. You know what? It had a lot to do with the vibe, the crowd. Right. And what was like important, and just having this nice chill day. And obviously drinks are flowing and good food and good music. Right. I'm a photographer, and even I take multiple pictures of your decor, but I don't remember what it was. How many times have you said to yourself, oh my gosh, I had the best night because the decor was mint?
Honestly, I've seen this in different levels. Like, people walk into the reception evening for the cocktail hour, and they look at everything and go,
and they're they get that moment.
This looks gorgeous.
But that does not determine
10
what
seconds.
Their night's gonna be.
But that's it. 10 seconds. They look at it, they love it, and they move on. That's it. Like, the impact was when they walked in, and that is it. Now, but what they're going to remember
look good for video and 100%. But if your idea to yourself is, no, I just want to have this amazing fun night with my friends, well, then look at how you're spending your money. Look at how you're using your budget. It's not always decor, right?
And being able to capture the fun and what's happening there. We're not focused on the decor all the time. We're focused on the people that are there.
Oh,
right?
I honestly, I'm people oriented when I take photos. Right. The other thing too is, a huge part of this industry is your event rentals and your decor. Talk to them. You say to them, how can I get my best bang for my buck? And this is what I'm looking for. Right.
100%.
They are amazing. They will help you. I have yet to meet anyone around here locally that has not bent over backwards for their clients.
I guess we've covered all the vendors at this point: event rentals, venue, florists, photographer, videographer, DJs. But that was most of the vendors that people get to right away, right? So
or rent a llama. Just joking. We don't do that here. It's too cold.
Please do rent a llama. Oh my God. But that was episode 2.
Yeah.
I think we got in deeper. We think
Ooh.
we got a little good. We gave them a good nuggets, or maybe it'll still be Finney and Willis watching it.
I don't know. I name dropped a different photographer. See if
That
she
is
picks
true.
up on it.
I've worked with Mandy so many times,
I
and
know.
her work is just as awesome. But we're gonna have to start name dropping some people.
I know.
And see how they react. See if they listen to it. But that was episode number 2 of For the Record podcast. Thank you all for listening. Once again, we're available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube for the video side of things.
Follow us on Instagram.
Follow us on all the socials. Danielle Polatic Photography, Trident Films, and Trident Music. And I think we've plugged enough.
Yeah. Okay. Have a wonderful week, you guys.
We'll see you all next week, Wednesday. Until then, see ya.
See ya.